Welcome to the place where we can talk about TV. Let's talk about Peaky Blinders. Peaky Blinders is a show by Netflix that tells the story of a gang in 1920 England. The guys who run the gang are the Shelbys, and at the helm, the main guy, Tommy Shelby. I read some reviews about this show on Netflix, and there was this guy who, as a bad thing, said that Peaky Blinders is just Sons of Anarchy in a different setting. Just a bunch of guys standing around trying to look cool. I actually really like that comparison, but it's very far from being a bad thing. There are a lot of similarities between Sons of Anarchy and Peaky Blinders, from the characters, the relationships within the gang, and the actual challenges they face, and how they have to deal with other criminal organizations. When you see Tommy carry out a complicated plan and he only tells specific people what their role in the plan is and no one actually knows the entire thing but him, if you watch Sons of Anarchy, you're thinking about Jax Teller. There's no way you're not. So while I do agree with the comparison, I'd like to add something to it. Peaky Blinders is like the later seasons of Sons of Anarchy, where it moves a little bit slower and every episode takes more out of you, and you have to wait longer for something to pay off. As of making this review, Peaky Blinders has 2 seasons, and each season has only 6 episodes, but I did not go through it quickly. I watched 2 episodes at a time and then I needed a break. It might be just 12 episodes, but it feels like a lot more. The show does some pretty amazing things over the span of each short season. It takes its time to build up these characters and really flesh them out, and not just Tommy as well. But many of the supporting characters really get to show off their personalities, and that really takes you in. Pair that with the incredible sets and wardrobe, and the show just feels genuine. Also, something I really liked about the show: no opening sequence. I mean, I really like a good opening sequence, but I'm not gonna watch it 12 times. They always have Red Right Hand by Nick Cave playing at the start of each episode, and it always blends beautifully with whatever's going on. So that's actually another point of comparison between SOA and Peaky Blinders. Great soundtrack. All of the songs are kind of out of place because it's not like 1920s music playing in the background, but it works. It works well. It works really well. A big motive in the show is the fact that it takes place just after World War I. So most of the men have been fighting in France, and some of them suffer from things like post-traumatic stress. And they did a great job of making you feel just how much the war has changed people. It doesn't matter if they're gangsters or cops or whatever. There's this certain unity you feel throughout the show between everyone that fought side by side. And they keep mentioning how no one is the same as they were before the war. The dialogue in this show is written and executed so well that you kind of feel bad for some of these murdering psychopaths, and you're actually rooting for them. I really want to talk about each character in this show in greater detail, but I can't really do that without spoiling anything, so I won't. I guess the only problem that I had with the show, which is kind of nitpicking, was that some of these subplots didn't really pay off or were kind of dragged out. I can't really hold the pacing against the show because it's that kind of show. It takes its time. It's an investment. Not every show can be action, violence, explosion, fast-paced, kind of all the time. Although it really picks up in the second season. And when you do get fight scenes, they're good. Bottom line, should you watch it? Yes, absolutely. Unless you're looking for some light-hearted fun, and then no, do not watch this show at all. I have no idea how to correctly pronounce his name, so I'll just say Killian? Killian? I don't know. So Cillian Murphy does an amazing job as Thomas Shelby, and Sam Neill's character is a pretty unique villain, which I really liked. And again, I don't want to spoil anything because I want you to go through the journey with these characters by yourself, but you get a lot of very colorful and interesting characters that have a surprising amount of depth to them. This show is just dripping with 1920s gangster style. It's badass, sometimes it's over the top, but it's awesome. There is not one indoor scene in this show where someone's not drinking or smoking. Actually, I don't think there's any scenes in this show where they're not smoking. I mean, like pregnant women and children. It really is a miracle that they didn't all die of lung cancer by season 2. The dialogue is great, character development is actually one of the best I've seen lately, especially when the season is just 6 episodes. Just be ready for a show that takes its time, it's slow. I've heard people call it boring. That's what makes it not for everyone, I guess. So be patient, get in the mood, pour yourself some whiskey, and feel bad about yourself that you don't have such a cool accent. So have you watched Peaky Blinders, or are you watching it right now? I'd love to know what you think about the show. Just make sure you use spoiler tags or something if you're gonna, well, spoil anything. If you have any suggestions to which show I should review next, please leave them in the comments as well, and make sure you subscribe so we can talk about TV some more next time.